So we built a lot of complex systems to moderate content. But the problem with complex systems is they make mistakes. Even if they accidentally censor just 1% of posts, that's millions of people. And we've reached a point where it's just too many mistakes and too much censorship.
So basically, you just got muscled by the government and you just did it. But I feel like that's just kind of like, that was kind of weak.
I mean, when Elon Musk was getting his advertisement taken away from him, that was what you call kind of courage.
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go yourself. But go yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is.
Hi everybody, welcome back to our channel. So Mark Zuckerberg, he's had a come to Jesus moment with his guidelines on Meta. It's basically what he's doing is just doing what X is doing. You know, but anyways, so I have the little clip here of him talking about this, and let's just hear what he had to say, because I didn't see the whole clip yet. I just saw like a little 30-second. I think this is his whole, or pretty much all of what he said. Some of it, anyways. Can we just talk about how he looks, though?
Yeah, what's with his hair?
What? Why is he looks... So people are saying that he looks more masculine. It's like he's making an attempt to look a little bit more masculine, but his look is very retro.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's very different. Okay. So.
Hey everyone. I want to talk about something important today, because it's time to get back to our roots around free expression on Facebook and Instagram. I started building social media to give people a voice. I gave a speech at Georgetown 5 years ago about the importance of protecting free expression, and I still believe this today. But a lot has happened over the last several years. There's been widespread debate about potential harms from online content. Governments and legacy media have pushed to censor more and more. A lot of this is clearly political, but there's also a lot of legitimately bad stuff out there. Drugs, terrorism, child exploitation. These are things that we take very seriously, and I want to make sure that we handle responsibly. So we built a lot of complex systems to moderate content. But the problem with complex systems is they make mistakes. Even if they accidentally censor just 1% of posts, that's millions of people. And we've reached a point where it's just too many mistakes and too much censorship. The recent elections also feel like a cultural tipping point towards once again prioritizing speech. So we're going to get back to our roots and focus on reducing mistakes, simplifying our policies, and restoring free expression on our platforms. More specifically, here's what we're going to do. First, we're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them with community notes similar to X, starting in the US. After Trump first got elected in 2016, the legacy media wrote non-stop about how misinformation was a threat to democracy. We tried in good faith to address those concerns without becoming the arbiters of truth. But the fact checkers have just been too politically biased and have destroyed more trust than they've created, especially in the US. So over the next couple of months, we're going to phase in a more comprehensive community notes system. Second, we're going to simplify our content policies and get rid of a bunch of restrictions on topics like immigration and gender that are just out of touch with mainstream discourse. What started as a movement to be more inclusive has increasingly been used to shut down opinions and shut out people with different ideas, and it's gone too far. So I want to make sure that people can share their beliefs and experiences on our platforms.
So the first one about the fact-checking and community note, he's going to go to community notes, which is what X is doing, which is really what it should have always been, because fact-checking, you don't know, at this point we need to fact-check the fact-checkers. And there's no way of doing that, so it's better with community notes, because if someone puts something up, the community, the majority of people will say if their information they got matches kind of what the person's saying on that's making the video. So it makes more sense to do community notes anyways, because that way the community can say no, the majority of the community is saying what you're saying is wrong. Then that makes more sense than fact checking, because fact checking, who's the fact checkers? Who are these people?
Yeah, I mean, I think Mark Zuckerberg, proves that whoever's in charge, you gotta go with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I don't trust any of this. I mean, because I feel like if you really if you really felt this way, you would have been like Elon Musk did it when it wasn't popular.
Yeah.
Be the person when they start taking away your advertisement. No, you're doing this now because the person in charge wants it this way. So that means that if Trump can't win next time, but if a Democrat wins, he'll go back to whatever is, and this kind of, this kind of wishy-washy thinking, especially for people who have power, is what's dangerous.
Yeah.
This sort of whenever, wherever the wind blows, that's where I'm gonna go. He knew this when he was doing it. Everybody was over checking, shutting voices down. Yeah, that was you.
Yeah, that was you. He was saying he's getting pressure from the administration, the Biden administration, especially when it came to COVID and things, to muffle the voices of people who were talking about vaccines or getting it or not getting it. Basically, just cut anybody off on Meta that talked about that. The one thing that I'm noticing though with him in this video, that I saw the little clip of this, a small clip, I didn't see all of this yet. He keeps saying the word mistake, that we mistakenly did this. We won't make any more mistakes. Obviously, we can avoid mistakes like we've been making. I feel like the word mistake is kind of like, this is an intentional mistake though. Like you intentionally did this. So is it really, can we call this a mistake? Or were you, well, you know what I mean? Like, that's like kind of saving his butt there.
The double-minded man is dangerous.
Yeah.
A man who can't stand on principle and stand on character, you're not doing that. You know what I mean? You're doing that because it's popular now.
Yeah.
To do it. All these people, celebrities and all, Stephen A. Smith, all come to Jesus moment. Now when they realize that the pendulum has swung another direction, they're all throwing the Democrats under the bus because they all want to work.
He's trying to save his company.
Save their companies, and they all want to work. The same as the Washington Post did the same thing before Trump actually won. They knew that he did too. They knew Trump was going to win. Yeah, we didn't really know, but they knew, because they're tech people. They knew that Trump was going to win, and all of a sudden started to abandon the Democratic Party's platform. All of them started to do it. It's the same with Morning Joe and all these people who have now bent the knee and, it was somebody else's fault. You know what I mean? It was just like, whatever. These people can be bought.
Yeah.
These people can be bought and they can be swayed.
What's interesting is that Mark Zuckerberg, he owns outright the rights to Meta. So he is one of the very few people who has the last say, besides Elon, in his company. So he has the ability to do it the way that he wants to do it. He owns the vast majority of his company, meaning that he has full control over what he can and cannot put out. So what his argument is, I watched him on Joe Rogan, and what he was saying was that he was pressured by the Biden administration to, like I said before, muffle the voices of people who are basically conservative. All the things that he was told to cut out on Meta were only conservative, points that conservatives are making. So if you are the owner, you did have a right to say no and then not do it. It would be different if you had a bunch of people that you're, it was with your company that has money in it. No, that's not the situation here. But he chose not to do that. So basically, you just got muscled by the government and you just did it. And I feel like that's just kind of like, that was kind of weak.
I mean, when Elon Musk was getting his advertisement taken away from him, that was what you call kind of courage.
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go f yourself. But go f yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is.
Because he needed the advertisement. You know what I mean? And they were going to shut, that would have shut him down.
He was refusing to be bullied.
But he said, let them take it.
Yeah, he was refusing to be bullied. That's what you're supposed to do in that situation. And that's exactly what Mark should have did in the situation, is refuse to be bullied, even by the government. Now, I'm not going to pretend to understand that kind of pressure at that level. Don't get me wrong. I don't have to sit here up here on YouTube and be like, I understand exactly what it's like to run a multi-billion-dollar company, be one of the top richest men in the world, which is what he is. I don't know what that is like, and to have then the president of the United States and the government officials telling you to do something and you got to do it. Like, I don't know what it's like, but I will say this: that if you are the most powerful, one of the most powerful people in the world, you have to have some kind of balls. Yeah. And so when I see a person like this who is very influential, he has a lot of power and pull and clout, and he's not able to, put the big middle finger up in the face of the government that is stifling when you're on a platform. This is a social media platform. That's a First Amendment. This is a First Amendment, platform. Basically, what we're doing. This is how we get the source of our news now, because we all know that. Like he even mentions it here. The mainstream media it's nothing now, and so obviously people are gonna go to YouTube and different other sources to get their information, and for you to stifle that, knowing you have the power.
So when people pressure you, you do the wrong thing.
That's what we found out.
Third, we're changing how we enforce our policies to reduce the mistakes that account for the vast majority of censorship on our platforms. We used to have filters that scanned for any policy violation. Now, we're going to focus those filters on tackling illegal and high-severity violations. And for lower severity violations, we're going to rely on someone reporting an issue before we take action. The problem is that the filters make mistakes, and they take down a lot of content that they shouldn't. So by dialing them back, we're going to dramatically reduce the amount of censorship on our platforms. We're also going to tune our content filters to require much higher confidence before taking down content. The reality is that this is a trade-off. It means we're going to catch less bad stuff, but we'll also reduce the number of innocent people's posts and accounts that we accidentally take down. Fourth, we're bringing back civic content. For a while, the community asked to see less politics because it was making people stressed, so we stopped recommending these posts. But it feels like we're in a new era now, and we're starting to get feedback that people want to see this content again. So we're going to start phasing this back into Facebook, Instagram, and Threads while working to keep the communities friendly and positive.
So he says that he's going to bring back some more. He dialed back a lot of political talk on his platforms because he felt that he was trying to read the room, and he's saying that the vast majority of the public was not liking the political talk because it was making them stressed, as he says. That is actually not true at all. People want to hear political talk. It's just that you decided to not put it up because you were told not to do that. Mm-hmm. So it's not that you just felt like people didn't like political talk. That wasn't it. Just that the political talk that you didn't want to hear is what you didn't want to put up. That's all it is.
So they told you to do that.
They told you to do that.
They told you to do it, so you did it.
This is not about people not liking political talk. Of course, people have been talking about political stuff for decades. On media. This is a media source, and so that's not what it is. This is like, and again, that we accidentally. So this is going to reduce the level of people's pages and channels getting taken down. Mm-hmm. Right. This is going to reduce. He as he says again, mistakenly and accidentally getting taken down. No, it's not mistakenly or accidentally getting taken down. You're literally taking them down because it's not meeting the needs of the government who bullied you, and you took it. This is what that. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't a mistake.
You're absolutely doing what everybody else is doing. Mm-hmm. This is it's the same as Trump talking to Obama at the Jimmy Carter. Mm-hmm. Look at Obama. I thought he was Hitler.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? It's like they're all doing it. Mm-hmm. They realized that what they were trying to sell just did not sell. And now they're realizing that all of their careers, from social media people to politicians to people on television, like I said, Stephen A., the people who do commentary on TV, mm-hmm. they're all realizing that the public didn't really care for what they were saying. And then they saw the ratings drop immediately. And so they're all trying to save their own skin. That's what this is all about. This has nothing to do with it. He's not having a come to Jesus moment. He's in a place now mm-hmm. where he knows that he can't do that anymore. So he didn't care about political people. People aren't stressed about political stuff because you don't have to watch something you don't want to watch. They didn't want you to play certain
that's what it was.
Things.
This wasn't an accident.
And so you knew it was wrong to take people's mm-hmm. content down.
But you did
not give them explanations mm-hmm. because sometimes they do that. Even YouTube, they'll flag you and then not tell you why.
So we've gotten it's like 3 or 4 videos taken down on mm-hmm. our channel, and when they give you the guidelines or the reason why, it's very, very, very vague. If you're a YouTuber, mm-hmm. and you're listening to this, you know what I'm talking about if you got a video taken down. The email is so vague. We took your video down because we believe it violates, is the word I'm looking for. We believe it violates a blank community, but it's like, but it's not specific or anything.
But it's like you believe that it violates, but you didn't say it did
specifically.
Violate.
Yeah.
I'm taking your content down because I believe that it violates, I think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We
not
think,
sure, but we're going to do that. And then you look at that same video that other people have done. We did a video on pod babies, remember?
Yeah, I remember that.
And everybody did a video, like the Daily Wire did a video on it, and their videos were still up.
Yeah.
But certain people, they'll go and say, oh, well, why don't you want to talk about this? Why is this video being taken down? Because this video was put up by people who are in much higher positions than me.
Yeah.
And you were, you seem to be okay with that. But the point is that you don't want to talk about it because there's some truth in it. Yeah. And you want it taken down. And so he's doing this only because he's realizing that he doesn't want to lose his company over this.
We're going to move our trust and safety and content moderation teams out of California, and our US-based content review is going to be based in Texas. As we work to promote free expression, I think that it will help us build trust to do this work in places where there is less concern about the bias of our teams. Finally, we're going to work with President Trump to push back on governments around the world that are going after American companies and pushing to censor more. The US has the strongest constitutional protections for free expression in the world. Europe has an ever-increasing number of laws institutionalizing censorship and making it difficult to build anything innovative there. Latin American countries have secret courts that can order companies to quietly take things down. China has censored our apps from even working in the country. The only way that we can push back on this global trend is with the support of the US government. And that's why it's been so difficult over the past 4 years when even the US government has pushed for censorship. By going after us and other American companies, it has emboldened other governments to go even further. But now we have the opportunity to restore free expression, and I am excited to take it. It'll take time to get this right, and these are complex systems. They're never going to be perfect. There's also a lot of illegal stuff that we still need to work very hard to remove. But the bottom line is that after years of having our content moderation work focus primarily on removing content, it is time to focus on reducing mistakes, simplifying our systems, and getting back to our roots about giving people voice.
At this point, he's just like, okay, I want to save my company. I don't want my company going. I sure as hell don't want the president of the United States not to approve of my, my company. So I think that's where he's at in his head. I'm glad he's doing this. For now, I'm glad he's doing this because this is how all platforms should be in the United States of America. It should be a freedom of speech. Obviously, there are some things that you can't show or say illegal stuff, on the internet anyway. I guess COVID would be the best, example of what I mean here, because there was so much misinformation with COVID, with Fauci saying one thing 1 minute and the next thing with the mask and all this, and there were people saying no, this is incorrect information, like this is not CDC saying one thing, next thing they say another, but then conservatives mostly were no, that is misinformation, and so I feel like calling that out, that's not the kind of stuff that needs to be deleted or not approved on your platform. These are things that people, want to know about, but you just had it one-sided. And I also want to say that for years, conservative Republican people have been saying that their voices have been being stifled for years on social media, specifically his platform. We were all called conspiracy theorists during this entire time, right? Up to about 5 minutes ago, and when he made this thing. So basically, we can go ahead and drop the conspiracy, the theorist part of it, and just say conspiracy because we were correct.
I don't care about your explanation. Just do it.
He has Dana White, the USC owner of USC. Dana White is now on the board of Meta. I think he's helping him navigate through, I guess, some of this stuff, and I think trying to get a different demographic of people on board. And my opinion, I think he's trying to get more of a masculine. That's why he looks like this. More, what's his name? Zuckerberg does do UFC fighting. He's done that competitively for a while now, so he's into that. So I think he's trying to also, like, you know what it is? Like, when you're a lefty, it is kind of like, there's a thing out there where it's kind of like weak. You have a kind of a weak spirit about you, in my opinion. And I think he's starting to feel a little emasculated, but it's by his own doing. And so I think that's why he, is happy that Dana White's coming on board. That's a great person to have on board. So I hope he utilizes man correctly. Dana White's no joke. Like, he'll just tell you, exactly. He'll just tell you how it is. But yeah, I know a lot of people had a problem with him moving his thing to Texas. That was a big problem with the left.
Well, they have to now because Los Angeles is burning.
Again, like Kara said, just do it. Just do it, okay? We're America's First Amendment is the most important amendment, because without that amendment, we can kind of just X out the other ones. Yeah. So we got to start there. So, yeah.
Kamala Harris would have won, and Dana White be on your board.
Right.
No. So, spare me.
Yeah.
It's just like, again, pick a side.
Yeah.
And then, stay there. But don't give me the explanation. I hate when people give me an explanation and it's all to blame it on somebody else. Yeah. The whole explanation, when these people do that, like Morning Joe, when they went to Mar-a-Lago, yeah. And then Joe was all this time talking crap about Trump, calling him Hitler, that his followers were Nazis,
threat to democracy.
All of the threat to democracy. We're going to have the Holocaust again. All this stuff. Then as soon as he wins, he goes out with his wife, Micah, whatever her name is, and then they bend the knee and they come back with this explanation because they have to explain themselves to their audience. And we've hit it. We have cheated hard. And then here's Stephen A. It's their fault. The liberals, they're so dumb. And then I was like, where was all this?
Where was all of it?
I don't care.
It's amazing. It's amazing, these come to Jesus moments.
The problem with the way the country is running is not that it's because of people that think like this. People who are only going to stand on principle when it suits you. And that's why the country crumbles. The country doesn't crumble because of, it wasn't crumbling because of Trump or anything. It was crumbling because people, men and women now, who can't stand up for anything.
Right.
They stand up when it's easy to do it.
Yep.
But when it's not easy to do it, they all fall to their knees to whatever overlord is standing in front of them in the moment. And this is the reason why we have such a problem here. All of a sudden, Jeff Bezos too, making his little, proclamation. And it's just like, what is this? All of a sudden you guys have this, like, there was nothing wrong. Like I said, looking at, what's the name? Barack Obama sitting there talking to Trump at Jimmy Carter's funeral. And it's just like laughing and giggling. I was like, really? This is how you feel? This is, if Hitler were here, this is how you feel about Hitler? You guys all want to hang out with him and talk to him and stuff. You guys are bogus.
Yeah, they just want access now. Make sure
they should all not have careers in this business.
Right.
You should not have all careers after looking at that. When I look at Barack Obama laughing with Trump, it makes me think that you are such a fraud. And I hope and anybody else who does this should not even have a career in this business at all. But these other phonies that were all calling him Hitler and all of this, all of a sudden they're not even in office anymore. And they're all just bending the knee and laughing and joking. It was all just a misunderstanding, and we're bullied, and they're all blaming it all on each other. It's just it really shows why the United States is having such a problem.
Yeah.
Weak men,
but it does show you
and dumb women trying to take charge.
But it's amazing seeing it's amazing that this man's not even, his inauguration hasn't even happened yet. He isn't even officially president yet, and see all the changes that happened, like literally the day after. The day after he won, like you could see everyone in the political world, were just changing their minds on everything and trying to rush to not even apologize, just be agreeable now. Like the power of that is amazing to me. It's like the adults back in the room. You know what I mean? So they know that he holds real power.
Because it's not just the people in America that he changes. It's the people they also do business with outside of America that they all have to now kiss his ring.
Yeah.
Because they realize now that everything they're saying is going to change, not just for here. We're the example. America's the example for the rest of the world. So what happens here dictates what kind of happens out there.
Right.
Which is why they're all now like, oh, it was his fault. It was his fault. No, they were telling me, you know, I mean, it's just.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
They're like kids that got caught.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But you guys, let us know what you think about what Zuckerberg had to say. Do you think he's going to follow through with this? He better.
He will. He'll fall through with
better.
it. You know, I think it's just disappointing that he just didn't just do this. You know what I mean? Before. He didn't take the initiative, you know, and do this. He got intimidated. And now
that's not good.
Right. So I'm glad that he's doing it. I just don't care about his excuses and his explanation.
Right. All right, look, guys, let us know what you think. Leave some comments below, and we'll see you in the next video.